Hi, guys. My name is Veronica Higgins. For those of you that don't know me, I am an online transformative women's coach. I specialize in completely transforming women's lives through fitness, nutrition, mindset, spirituality, the whole 9 yards. I've been doing overall coaching for about 3 years now, and I've been in the fitness industry for how long? Well, I've been in the fitness space for like 4 years. Yeah, and so I just recently like became an online coach and content creator. And yeah, so let's get into it. And you? Who are you?
So I'm Luis Daniel Perez. A similar background. I'm an online coach. I've been in the fitness space for about 4 years now. Did 4 years of personal training at a big branch gym. Got sick of that, and now I help young men transform into the men they want to be. That's simple.
Awesome. So let's get into it. So you came from a communist country. You were born in a communist country in Cuba.
Mhm.
You came when you were like 4 years old, right?
Mhm.
How was it growing up for you
Coming from
when you came here? Like how was your childhood? How did you grow up?
um, you know, very similar to most uh, immigrants that come to the United States, low income, struggling, watching their parents work. Uh, yeah, it wasn't easy, but like I said before the cameras were rolling, I don't remember much of that part of my life. I guess it's, I don't know if you would call that trauma or whatever I was dealing with at the time. I don't remember much of it, and I haven't done the reflection to remember, which is probably something I should do. But I do remember it being very tough, uh, lonely, to add some dramatics. Um, but yeah, definitely shaped me into the man I am. So very grateful for it.
Definitely. I mean, we can both agree like childhood is the main factor. Like it drives who you are today. What
Definitely.
would you say like about your childhood stands out and has built you into the man that you are today?
Watching my parents struggle, I think that's a big factor, especially my dad. Um, him having him setting the example of what work ethic is. Um, no matter the circumstances, no matter how he's feeling that day, my I for years I never saw my dad change his facial expression just because he was working all the time. Like he had no time to. He, everything was for his family and trying to survive, trying to what's the next step, what's the next financial ladder. So he set a big example of what work was supposed to be, which is why I feel I'm kind of relentless now when it comes to that. Like I don't really believe in days off, just because I always see him working. To this day, he's always working.
So you would say he obviously a big inspiration for you, for
Definitely.
sure. Awesome.
Yeah. How about you? How was your childhood growing up? Since you're from here.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
How
yeah.
was that for you?
Oh, my childhood was good. My dad made really good money. So did my mom. I don't during the week my parents weren't around a lot because they were always working. Um, and then I remember like economy crashed, and we were one of those families that lost everything. Like we lost business, house, boat, trucks. Like we lost it all. So I mean, I don't know if it's a positive thing, but that I would say has definitely impacted me now as far as like work ethic goes. Um,
How was it going from having everything you wanted to just out all of a sudden nothing?
well, I mean, as a kid, you don't really understand, right? You see your parents just kind of packing everything up. We have to move. You see attitudes start to change. Now you're not going to Disney as much anymore. You're not going out to dinners as much anymore. And as a kid, like you don't realize, but it's not until you get older where you're like, fuck, you know,
Mm.
like they were going through it. Um,
What changed?
What do you mean?
within your parents' dynamic?
Oh, fights. You know, there was more fights, there was more arguing, there was more hostility in the household. There wasn't as much patience. I would say that for a while they tried to mask it as best as they could, and they were only doing the best with what they could, as all parents do. Um, but you know, my parents turned to alcohol. They turned to distraction to instead of actually solving the problem. Um, which, like I said, you can't blame your parents. They did the best with what they could. But I'm grateful for the experience. I'm grateful for the experience because it just it allows me to know exactly what not to do,
Hmm.
you know.
Right.
But yeah,
Do you think if the crash never happened, if they never started suffering financially, like they'd still be good to this day?
no,
Why?
because at the end of the day, it's mindset. You know, if if things continued being perfect, quote unquote, and money was good, and you know everything was good, I think that eventually weak mindsets will find something to complain about. So, do I believe everything happens for a reason? Yes. Economy crashed for a reason. My family lost it all for a reason. But at the end of the day, and this is my spiritual side showing, I believe that that was just the universe testing them. And in a way, they failed the test.
Hmm.
You know, there was bound to be a test at some point. Like things can only be perfect for so long,
Right.
you know? So yeah. I think that's also where I get my resilience from. Like you're always telling me I'm so like what's the word that you use? Um relentless.
Hmm.
Relentless and just like not giving up. And I think I get that from that. Yeah.
Okay. I asked because I think well, yeah, this is a personal opinion, but I do think most divorces are due to
Financial, for sure.
financial problems.
Why do you think that is?
What do I think? What is?
Why do you think that is that most divorces end up because of financial issues?
I mean, not having money is frustrating. I think it's that simple. You can't buy what you want. You can't buy what the other person wants.
So, to a certain extent, would you say money does buy happiness?
Money solves your money problems. It just comes down to that. And I think a lot of people just have money problems that could be solved with money. And if it don't get solved, it's still a problem, and that problems lead to altercations, and altercations lead to disagreements, and disagreements lead to divorce. I do think it's that simple.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Okay. So, I'm going to ask it again. Like, do you believe that in a way money does buy happiness?
Yes. Money solves your money problems. But then after that, you're left with the individual, and their go a word we've used a lot, mindset. Where are they at mentally? Their core values or principles um, leaves you with, okay, I solved my money problem, but now what's my purpose as a human being? So yeah, it solves a lot. You know, I think it's probably the first problem you should solve in your life, major problem, and then once you tackle that, everything else should get easier, and it buys you more time. You know, with
What do you
money,
mean by that?
it buys you more time to figure out your purpose if money wasn't it. Um, yeah,
Speaking of purpose, do you feel like you've found that? Do you
my
know what your purpose is?
my purpose.
Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah, I feel very passionate in what I'm doing right now, and helping others fulfills me greatly. Um, Making money fulfills me greatly. So I truly do think, yeah, I've found my purpose.
And obviously, if you found it now, there was a period where you did not have it.
Hmm.
What was that period for you?
Before I moved, before I moved here, after you graduate, like that, 18 to 21 period of your life, I was completely lost. I didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't doing anything, skipping college classes, not taking it seriously, just hanging out with the boys, doing dumb shit, drugs, the usual Miami lifestyle. I was completely lost. I had no direction. I did not know where I was going in life. And in the back of my head, I knew it. Like, I got to do something. I just didn't know what it was. And I was still going to the gym. I was still working out. Like, I still looked pretty good. But my parents were the ones that were telling me that, a typical Hispanic, um, you got to go to college, you got to get a degree, you got to get a secure job, the whole, the American
The whole
dream, right?
spiel.
Yeah, 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 the usual. Um, but I hated school. Um, like, I had given it my best in high school, and I was like, I'm not doing that again. So once I got to college, I was burnt out. Not even burnt out because I never put in that much work academically. I just did the bare minimum to get by. So when I got to college, and I was like, I got to do 4 more years of this. I just checked it out, blocked it off. I didn't want to do it, and I didn't. So
But weren't you in college?
I was in
So, like,
college.
what were you doing when you were skipping?
Oh, I would go to the library. I remember I had a class at 8 a.m. That's my first class. I would wake up at 7. I had a shit Ford Escort, 1999, gray, no AC. Yeah. I'd pull up in that at 7:50, and I'd go straight to the library, knowing I had a class at 8.
And what would you do?
Oh, in the library, go back to sleep, put my earphones on, look at fitness videos, um, wait for one of my friends to get out of his class at 8:50, and then he'd meet me up in the library, and then he had like a 2 hour gap, so we would just talk shit, um, like do like fantasy sports. That's where we got into the whole basketball, fantasy basketball. Yeah, just time wasting, not and nothing productive. Uh,
So, you
Lost.
would have rather done completely, absolutely nothing than just sit in class.
Yep.
Crazy. Why? What was your mindset like during that time? Like, why did it make more sense for you to sit in the library and just like do nothing when you could just be sitting in your classroom doing nothing?
One, I didn't want to be forced to do anything, whether that's just like if I'm sitting in the classroom doing nothing, it's because I'm forced to be doing nothing based off my environment. You know, there's a teacher that I have to respect. I just can't be talking. I can't be on my phone. So I have to pay attention to something I don't give a fuck about. I preferred to just sit in quiet and put YouTube on and look at something that I was at least interested in, you know. And at the time, I didn't know that those fitness videos were teaching me little lessons that I use now. But during the time, I was like, either way, I'm going to waste my time. So I might as well waste it in something that at least interests me. That was my mindset going into it. And I did that for like a whole week. I did that for 2 semesters.
And then your parents found out.
Yes. Then my parents found out.
And how did they react?
They they just stopped caring after a little bit. You know, they they it was nothing new for them. In high school, I was doing similar stuff. But in high school, the difference is I did have to lock in junior and senior year, and I did very well. I put in effort in school. All it takes is a little bit of effort, and you pretty much have B's, which was a, a good standard for me. um, so they were kind of already used to getting disappointed academically by me. So when they found out, my mom was like, "What are you gonna do now? How much longer?" Like, she was just disappointed, and I'd see it in their faces. They thought I was lost. They knew it as well. And I was at the time I was skipping class and going out doing random jobs, working as a server, front desk at LA Fitness, working at Aldi, just meaningless jobs. And I was okay with that. I was okay with that during that time period because later that night, I got to hang out with my friends and we went to go do dumb shit and it was fun. And I was okay with that, but I was completely lost looking back at it.
And so when was that moment that flipped for you?
When I moved. And I was forced to move. I was going to stay, but it made no sense.
What do you mean?
I was working at Aldi at the time, making like 700 every 2 weeks. And in Miami, like that doesn't work. You wouldn't survive. So I played it safe again, like I've done in my life. Like, what's the most comfortable option? And just staying with my parents was comfort, which is why I decided to move. But what I didn't realize, the environment I was moving to was going to be extremely uncomfortable and was going to be the thing that completely changed my life. So the second I moved to Lehigh, everything changed.
How so?
I went from knowing everybody, knowing what's on the corner of 8th Street, to moving to this agricultural little city called Lehigh Acres, where every house is half an acre, trees around it. Everything's getting newly built. The only entertainment was a Walmart in the middle of the city.
It's still like that too.
It's still like that. Every gym was a 40-minute drive. Yeah. If you wanted to go anywhere that wasn't that Walmart, it was a 40-minute drive. It's in Fort Myers. So having the convenience of having your friends, everybody you've ever known, 5 minutes away, to knowing nobody, and there's the closest entertainment is 40 minutes away, that was a big difference. That was a big difference. And at the time, I had my real estate license. That was like the first big accomplishment I made in my life, getting my real estate license. And again, something I wasn't interested in. I was just forcing it upon myself to do something to please my mom. And the brokerage was located in Miami, and they were still expecting me to do stuff in Lehigh, do door-to-door sales, go knock. Never knocked on one single door. I would just do the meetings on a weekly basis, take my notes, study them a little bit, and posted a few pictures on Instagram, and that was it. That's my real estate career. And little but like as the weeks went on, I just started not attending the meetings, less and less interested, and they knew that, and they kind of stopped hitting me up. And it wasn't until I was going to this gym called Around the Clock at the time. And one night, I remember going there about 8 p.m. and I was leaving, and then I see this personal trainer training some lady. And I kind of thought to myself, I was like, I've been looking at fitness videos for the past five years at this point. And I've had a good transformation myself. I've helped a couple of my friends like make small changes and they thought it was super helpful. So I was like, wow, why can't I do that? So literally as soon as I waited for him to finish his session, probably waited like 15 minutes next to the machine he was on. He finished, and I just went up to him and was like, yo, how do I do what you do? Like, well, you got to take a course. Once you take the course, you get certified. Once you get certified, you'll be able to personal train, and you could apply at any gym. It's like, cool. Like, what course should I take? And he recommended this one called NASM, National Academy of Sports Science. Sports Medicine, I'm sorry. The next day, I told my mom, and like, luckily, God knows why. Maybe it's the Hispanic parents in them, or just because I'm her son. They've always supported me, no matter how many times I've disappointed them. So the next day, like I told her about it. It's like, this is something you really want to do? I was like, yes. And I think she kind of realized that this time might be different, just because my enthusiasm in it. And she paid for it. Not only did she pay for it, but she bought the biggest NASM bundle there is. You know,
What a G.
yeah. She invested $2,000 that we didn't have in me, and for 5 certifications, I was able to get 5 certifications. And 2 months later, um, I had my certified personal training cert. And it's funny enough, like I went to go apply at that same gym where I had asked the dude, and he's like, "Yeah, bro, good job. We'll call you back in like 2 days." That was a Friday. 2 days would have been Monday. Like so, I waited over the weekend. Monday came, he never called, and that same Monday, I was like, maybe I should just apply online. I went on Indeed, and I saw this one called Crunch. Applied. Uh, And usually all the gyms that I remember seeing on Indeed were about, again, an hour away. But it didn't really matter because I knew it was going to be good pay. So yeah, I remember I applied at Crunch, Anytime in Naples, the Crunch in Cape Coral, and Crunch was the first one to hit me back up. And yeah,
Crazy.
started at Crunch, worked there for 3 years, and then quit about 2 months ago.
So what was like the most that you made at Crunch, just being like an in-person trainer
In a month,
in a month?
7,000.
7,000. So you went from making $7,000 a month to $20,000 a month.
Mhm.
What changed there?
I didn't know it was possible. I never viewed myself as somebody that could make 20,000 in a month. I think that was just the biggest change. I've always I've always wanted I've always wanted to start a business. Business has always been like in the back of my ear since I graduated. I mean, I got into college doing business administration. That was my major. And then I ended up switching it halfway through to do exercise science, which didn't end up finishing either. Um, but business has always just attracted my attention. It's always been like this thing that I'm attracted to. Um, so I'm sorry, repeat your question. I kind of got lost
I
in my
just said
thoughts.
like what changed there? Like obviously you quit,
Right.
right? You'd quit Crunch, and then 2 months later you're making $20,000 as opposed to seven.
Mhm.
Like what changed there?
Yeah, just information. I didn't have the information I needed. I information it was the mental capacity of like the limitation of I'm just at Crunch. Like what? There's so much I can do here. There's so much time that I can invest. A percentage of my paycheck it's going to a company. You
A
know.
big ass percentage.
Yeah. So the biggest change, like I work for myself now. I see what I'm capable of, and I kind of always knew it. You know, at Crunch, you could sell $2,000 to $3,000 packages, and that was always me. I'm selling these packages, and this company is taking 60% of it. Why? Like I always ask myself why. Like I could do this, but it's not until you're forced to you're forced to make an uncomfortable decision that you take that jump and you realize that I can't do it. So yeah, I think the biggest difference is just the biggest difference is just believing that it's possible. I didn't believe it was possible. 3 months ago.
So what would be your advice to men out there who are lost, who are in that lost period?
I know it seems scary, but you have no other option. Like either way you have nothing to lose. So you might as well take the jump. Which is what I did. I had nothing to lose, you know? And I was so fearful of ending up like my coworkers. You know, it got to a point where I just dreaded going to work because I knew I was making somebody else more money. Yeah, that'd be my biggest advice. Like I truly do understand it's scary, and I see why most people don't take that jump. But it's the pressure of taking the jump that would it's the pressure of taking that jump that guarantees success. If that makes sense.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because knowing that you're going to get that paycheck every 2 weeks is comfortable.
100%.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
so nice.
Mhm.
Like just knowing, oh, and this Friday coming up, I'm good.
Mhm.
So to have that like taken away,
Mhm.
and now it's like by taking that away from yourself, you now have the potential to make as much as you want, but you're trading the comfort for the risk,
Mhm.
which for me is so worth it.
Yeah.
So worth
And
it.
it goes beyond that too, right? It's not only that you have a secure payment every 2 weeks, but your clientele, all your leads are in front of you. Your leads are provided for you. Um, yeah, if you're not the one getting sued, the company is. Like, there's so many little factors that put you in that comfortable position that when you strip everything out of it, the immense pressure that you feel is, I see why it breaks people. I see why people don't make it. But if you have, like, what's your other option? My other option was ending up like my coworkers in about 2 to 3 more years, getting in a management position. Thank God I didn't. But that's what I wanted to do. But there was a reason why how I didn't get promoted for 2 years, although I fucking deserved it.
You did.
I made them a lot of money,
Yeah, you did.
and I wanted that raise, I wanted that promotion. But thank the universe, Lord, like whoever you want to believe is up there, pulling the strings that it didn't happen that way. Because if not, I would have gotten even more comfortable and never taken the jump.
Definitely.
Mhm.
So at the end of the day, you would just say, stop being comfortable.
As simple as it sounds, yeah. Stop being comfortable.
If you're comfortable, you're not growing.
Mhm. Yeah. Comfort is maintenance. Maintenance is myth. There is no such thing. The universe is constantly expanding. If you're not expanding with it, you will fall behind.
100%.
Yeah, it's just the law.
Definitely.
What about you? What got you into fitness?
What got me into fitness? I'd always been
Well,
an
I'm sorry.
athlete.
Let me backtrack. Let's. You asked me.
You don't have to ask me the same questions, but
No, but that way we get a similar background, right? We're because I think we have two very different stories.
yes.
So I started from 18 to 21. You're younger than me though. So like what was it? What was high school like for you and the transition after?
High school was weird, like very weird for me. I would say I grew up really fast. Like late middle school to early high school, I was already sneaking out, doing drugs, drinking, um, meeting up with random guys. So I grew up quick. And I like to say it was a form of rebellion because, like I mentioned, like the situation with my parents in '08, it only got worse. It progressively got worse year after year, to the point where I was just in a toxic, like oppressive household. Not like, I wouldn't say abusive. Well, yes, borderline abusive. And so I wanted freedom. Like that's all that I wanted was freedom from my house, was independence, not having to rely on my parents for anything because they weren't reliable. Um, I just wanted freedom. So my intro to freedom was just rebellion. Like I said, just doing everything that my parents told me to do. And I was like the golden child up until like late middle school, early high school, golden child. And it just flipped. And I was like, why am I trying to please you guys if I'm not getting anything out of it? So fuck you guys. I'm going to do whatever I want. And if I get in trouble, I don't even care. Like that's how bad it was. And so I did that for a little bit. And I just rebelled and was just doing bad things, just bad things. But I realized that I wasn't hurting. I was not only just hurting my parents, but I was deeply hurting myself. It was almost like a self-sabotage. Like, I'm so unhappy. Let me see just how unhappy I can make everybody and myself. And that only lasted so long. And it got to the point where I was so rock bottom that I was just like numb. And I was like, I just don't care. Like, I'm just whatever. You guys want me to be a good student and lock in? Fine, I'll do it. I just don't care. Anything until I turn 18. Like that was it. That was just like for me. So
You turned 18?
So then I turned 18. And like 2 months after being 18, my mom kicked me out of the house.
Why?
Because my boyfriend at the time had just broken up with me. And I mean, you're an 18-year-old girl and your boyfriend just breaks up with you. Like, obviously, for a couple weeks, like, you're going to have an attitude. You're not going to be in the best mood. So I was just, being difficult and picking fights with my mom. And my mom was just, she was hurt too. So I think she acted like in a form of rebellion and was just like, you're done. You're out. And I had nowhere to go. I had no idea what I was going to do. I had maybe $300 to my name. And I was like, bet. And I was almost like waiting to hear it. Like, I almost wanted that for myself. Like, I wanted that push because, like I said, for all those years, I just wanted my independence so bad. So the minute she says those words, I'm like, perfect.
Where'd you go?
To my sister. Yeah. My sister, I knew had a spare bedroom and she had roommates in the past.
Okay.
So I was like, I hit her up. She was like, of course, come here. So I moved into my sister's house. And I had been an athlete my whole life. I was a swimmer. So, I was working, but when I wasn't working, I was like, well, what do we do now? I missed that discipline. I missed the competition. I missed the just being able to jump in the pool and do nothing. But I knew that now if I try to pursue my swim career, like I was just kind of burnt out with swimming. It's like, I don't want to go back to that. Like, what am I going to do? Find a team and pay for a coach? Like, it just wasn't,
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, why not start the gym? So I started the gym. I got my gym membership at Crunch.
So before you continue, you only started the gym because you were lacking the competitive aspect of life?
No. It was almost like I had this extra time and I
Where were you working?
Where was I working?
Mhm.
I was working at Home Goods.
Okay.
Yeah, I was working retail.
Cool.
And I was working a lot. I was working like 45 hours a week.
Cool.
And yeah, in my free time, I was just kind of like, like, what now?
Okay.
Like, what do I do?
Right.
So, and obviously there was emptiness there. There was pain. There was pain of not having my family. My family was falling apart. My parents were getting a divorce. The whole drama that happened with my mom kicking me out, like I didn't speak to her for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I felt very alone. Even though I wasn't in a relationship, I knew that I was using the relationship like as a distraction.
Mm.
So when the relationship wasn't there, I was just kind of like, damn, I'm alone.
Okay.
So I guess I started the gym to better myself because I knew it had to be done. Like
Fill the void, though.
but also to fill the void.
Right.
Yeah. It was something for me to do to get my mind off of everything else.
And how was it starting?
How was it starting in the gym? I would say like for the first few months, I would just go in and just walk on the treadmill or just do the Stairmaster.
Why?
Because I didn't know what I was doing.
Okay.
You know, I would maybe go to like, I remember I just knew a couple exercises, and one was like the cable, the
Push down.
tricep. Yeah. And I was insecure about my arms. So like I would treadmill and then go over to the triceps, do like 2 sets and then leave. That was my workout. So yeah. And then I slowly, you know, I started Instagram, TikTok, started seeing, that was when the hip thrust like started getting really popular. So I was like, let me try this. And so yeah, I just kind of started trying stuff little by little.
What gave you that courage?
Gaining the confidence.
Because going from the treadmill to a hip thrust, there's a confidence gap there.
But I would say my boyfriend really got me into the gym.
Okay.
At the time, like he wanted to really get into it.
Okay.
So it's like if we were hanging out not doing anything, he'd be like, "You want to go to the gym?" And I'd be like, "Oh, I don't want to." And it was like Planet Fitness at the time. I'd be like, "I really don't want to." And he'd be like, "No, come on, let's go." So we would go and he would just show me stuff. So I guess like kind of knowing what I'm doing, I guess, kind of gave me that confidence to just do it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then how was your progression with that?
Horrible.
Really?
Horrible. I wasn't tracking anything. I would go in and do random exercises. I was losing weight, which I
Really?
thought was a good thing.
But were you looking better?
I was. Yeah, I was looking better. I definitely was, you know.
You hesitated.
Like I was looking better. But now that I remember it, I don't remember like trying to achieve anything. I don't remember having specific goals.
Okay.
I remember even when I got hired at Crunch, they'd ask me like, "What's your goals?" And I was like, "I don't know, grow my glutes a little bit." Like I just loved being active. I loved it. That was it.
Mm-hmm. What do you feel like you struggled with when you started the gym?
I'm trying to put myself back there. I started the gym. What did I struggle with? Definitely just knowing what to do. Knowing what to do for sure. I never really considered form.
So structure.
I think you don't know what you don't know. And I didn't even know there was like a proper way to do things.
Right.
I didn't even know that. I just thought, you know, you watch a video and you kind of do the same thing. Like it does the same thing as long as you're feeling it, you know? And now I look back at like my hip thrust videos. I'm like, good God, that's horrible, you know? So I think that's also like a problem in today's society. You know, people think like, yeah, you just go to the gym and you're fine. But it goes so deep. It really does.
The gym's a great start.
Yes.
You know, definitely go to the gym rather not to go.
Oh, definitely.
You know,
yeah.
Go to the gym rather than just sit on the couch and eat some freaking Lay's.
Yeah.
It's a great start, but like any realm or any aspect or topic or whatever you want to call it, you know, there's a multitude of layers that goes into it. There's a whole science behind it. Yeah.
100%.
Definitely.
That's why I said this in our last podcast too, like if you want to lose 5 to 10 pounds, you can do it. You can do it on your own. But if you're trying to like build your dream body, which is possible for everyone, there is a proper and an improper way to go about it.
Right. That's meticulous thinking
That
on
is-
how to get to a goal.
Yes.
Right. That's just not going
And now do you think that's an issue in society? Like that people don't have set goals, they're just kind of living day to day?
100%.
That was me.
I think
Yeah.
put yourself in that.
That's why when you're asking me these questions, I'm like, I don't even know. Because I just didn't have any direction. I was just kind of doing what I felt like it in the moment.
So what would you tell you then, now?
I would just ask her, like, what are you trying to achieve?
Right, but you yourself 3-4 years ago answered that and said, I don't even know, I want to grow my glutes a little bit. So I think you need a different question. What would you ask yourself?
Where are you going?
What do you think she would say?
She'd say, I don't know. And so I'd be like, you need to think about it.
How would
That's
you
what I
guide
would
her?
tell her. That's what I would tell her.
How would you guide her?
I would tell her, and I would tell this to anybody, what you need to do in order to be successful. Grab a sheet of paper, a pen, and write down.
Wait, but she's not trying to be successful. She's in the gym.
No, successful just in life. Can I answer the question? What I would say is grab a piece of paper, grab a pen. What do you want to achieve? What do you want out of this life? In 5 years, or even in a year, what do you want? Because I think a lot of people don't even know what they want. They're kind of like, oh, yeah, I'll do this, or I'll do this job just because it's my job. I'll go to the gym just because I know that I need to go to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
I'll eat this food just because it's there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no plan.
There's no purpose
There's no
behind
purpose.
the action.
Yes, there's no purpose.
Okay, so it wasn't long when you started the gym from when you started your fitness career,
Okay.
like professionally.
Mhm.
Was there a big gap there or no?
No.
Cool.
I would say maybe 2 years.
Right. So what would Veronica just starting at Crunch answer to, like, what does she want to do in a year? Did she have plans? Like, what were your plans back then? No, just day by day, day by day.
Just day by day.
How was your day by day
Day by day.
looking?
What do you mean?
Like, what were you doing on a daily basis?
And this was when I started working at Crunch.
Yeah.
So when I started working at Crunch, I would get up. I would go to work.
Which was?
I'd work out Crunch, right?
But you didn't work full time at Crunch. You were also bartending.
Yes, that's right. Yes, I was.
I know your story better than you know your story.
Well, I'm like, there's so many time slots, so many eras. I'm like, which one are we in?
I asked, you started at Crunch. What were you doing when you started at Crunch?
When I started at Crunch, yeah, I was part-time bartender
Where?
at the Edison at a golf course.
Cool.
I was bartending there, and
You were a cart girl.
I was a cart girl.
Cool.
So much fun. That job was too much fun.
Okay.
And that's why I got to the point where I was like, I was drinking every day.
Mhm.
I was smoking weed every day.
Mhm.
Granted, I was still working out, but some days I was barely eating. And then other days I'd take like 3 pizzas to the dome.
Mhm.
You know, it was just so inconsistent, so unhealthy. And so one day I was just like, is this seriously what I'm going to do for the rest of my life? Like, for real? Is this it? This is my calling? No. So that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to the gym consistently. And Danny, or one of our coworkers, kept coming up to me like to fix my form or whatever. And then one day I was like, yeah, I've thought about applying here. Right? Like that. Interview tomorrow. I said, what? He said, you have an interview tomorrow. I said, okay. And I just showed up, and they practically told me I got the job in the interview, that I just needed to do my certification.
Mhm.
And that was it. And so I was still part-time bartending because there was a fear there. There was that fear, all those limiting beliefs.
Why'd you show up?
Why did I show up to the interview? Because
You
I
didn't have to. You were comfortable.
I was comfortable.
Why'd you show up?
Because I knew something had to change if I wanted to achieve bigger things.
What'd you want to achieve?
More money.
Okay,
A
so you did have
career.
goals.
Yeah, but not like set goals.
More money's a set
who-
goal.
Who doesn't want more money?
Okay. So you were working towards getting more money.
No. I was comfortable,
Okay.
and I was given an opportunity. And I
So just
literally,
mere coincidence.
oh yeah.
And what you thought in your head that Crunch was going to pay you more than.
Well, I was gonna see, and that's why I showed up to the interview. So I was
Okay.
like, let's see. Like, if it is more money, like, sure, why not?
So it was a purely money decision.
Yes, because if Crunch had not offered me more money, I would have stayed at my bartending job.
Wow.
I mean, I think I would have eventually found something else later on, but in that moment, I was like, yeah, more money,
Okay.
sure.
So
And I
you,
knew that I had to build a career eventually.
so you got the job. You started at Crunch. How was that process? Like getting into fitness.
It was tough. It was tough.
What was tough?
It was tough. First of all, because as a trainer, right? And I don't know about you. You said your clients were given to you. That was not the expectation that I had in the beginning. They told me you have to get your own clients.
What clients were given to me?
Well, you said that earlier. You said they give you your own leads, whatever.
You're at a gym. Everybody there's a lead.
Is a lead. Okay. So, what was
I
the
was just
question?
comparing it to like what we do now.
Yeah, true.
You know,
True.
but it's kind of the same thing, right? Everybody that
Everybody's a
likes
lead.
your stuff, that views it, that talks to you is a lead.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was just saying it in terms of the gym.
Okay.
Continue. Sorry.
What was the question again?
So what, like, how was it going into like just diving straight into fitness and that world of personal training?
I loved the concept of it. Like I loved the information, but more on the business aspect. It was
What
hard.
concept of did you love?
The being able to help people and getting people on a healthy lifestyle.
So from where
And
where did it go from, okay, this is just a pay raise, to I like helping people now?
let me retract that because it was more the people that I was around that I liked. People who were in the fitness industry.
Okay.
Like everybody when
So the gym environment.
Yes. Yes. The people that I was surrounded with at the gym, very positive, all in good shape, go-getters, good energy, good atmosphere, and I loved that. Yeah.
Which differ from the people in the um, golf world.
Yes. And it's so fascinating because you work at a bar and everybody's happy. But they're not truly happy.
Well, they're happy because they're intoxicated. No?
Exactly. It's
Right.
not a true like as far as the energy that you feel, it's not the same.
Mhm.
It's not the same at all. It wasn't an authentic, we're all healthy, like just
Mhm.
trying to get better at life type
Mhm.
people, as opposed to the gym, where it was that.
What when you said like the environment switch was what did it for you? What about the environment? Like, was just Crunch in general
Yeah.
being a happy, like, let's
Yes.
go?
Because I remember
sales,
saying
clients?
that.
Okay.
I remember telling the guy that was interviewing me, was like, and I'm also giving this a shot because I just love the energy in here.
Mm.
Like everybody's just so uplifting, everybody's positive, everybody's, genuinely, like genuine, which I came to find out wasn't completely the case. But at the time, what I was comparing
Surface
it
level.
to, yes. What I was comparing it to, yes.
Mhm. So like you get into the fitness world. What would you realize about yourself? No.
I got into fitness thinking that it was going to be like bartending,
How so?
where I could just charm people into buying training.
Okay.
Like you're out on the golf course, right? You just have to charm these guys into giving you money.
Okay.
There's no you don't have to care about them.
Right.
You don't have to ask them any questions necessarily. They just have to like you and you just have to be cute and smile and thank you, there's your drink, you're on your way. Whereas I thought that that's how I was going to be going into fitness, and that was not the case.
What made you realize that?
Oh, the minute I just started trying to get leads.
Okay.
I'd be like, hi, how are you? You want to buy training? They'd be like, who is this bitch? So I started to learn, wow, like I actually need to care about people
Okay.
in order to be able to help them and feel fulfilled, truly. So that's I would say what changed.
When did you realize that?
The minute I started trying to get leads, I just yeah.
What specifically led you to the realization? It's not the first person you talk to and you're like, I guess I can charm
No,
you.
I would say it was compounded. It wasn't one person.
Okay.
It was compounded.
What'd you realize though? How was your approach different? You went from charming people to what?
Oh, okay. To asking questions, to sitting down with somebody and truly asking questions and caring. You have to care about people, like you really do. And just having the confidence to be able to say, like, I can't, like, knowing that you can change somebody's life, like, knowing that you have the potential to do that,
Hmm.
as opposed to just selling something.
You don't feel like you were selling?
In the beginning, I was. I was like, oh, I have to learn sales. Like, I have to really sell, you know?
Okay.
But I noticed that, and it worked. It worked a little bit in the beginning, but, I would sell and then that person would fall off. They would be good for 2 months and then they would just ghost me and I just wouldn't see them again. And it wasn't until I was like, this isn't a sales game. This is a people game. And then that's when I started getting clients that were sticking with me, that were seeing results. When I was like, damn, if I can get to know this person to their core, understand their pain, understand what's driving them, understand what they want, that's when I can truly change somebody's life. And then that's when the abundance comes to me, because I'm acting out of genuine care for the person, not just my own self-gain.
Got it.
And then that's when I fell in love with coaching. That's when I was like, my purpose is to help people. And when it comes down to it, I think that's everybody's purpose.
You think so?
Oh, just to better humanity in general in some way, which is
I would agree with
usually
that.
helping people.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Providing some type of service.
Some type of service to humanity.
Yeah, for the better of mankind.
For the better of man, yes.
Definitely.
For the better of mankind.
I agree with that.
We all have that potential. And that's everybody's purpose. If you just find what you like and what you're interested in, and then figure out, okay, how can I take that and then help somebody? Boom. You're fulfilled.
Yes, somebody will like your product.
Exactly.
No matter how niche it is.
No matter how niche.
Yeah. There's people that like the shit you like.
Definitely.
So what was the turning point again? Because now you're at this new high at Crunch. You took a big leap forward. You're caring about people now. You're giving them results. You're seeing results within yourself, I'm sure, physically.
I was.
And I guess before I get into that question, let's go there. What changed for you, whether that's knowledge, mindset, approach, what changed from where you were fitness-wise, starting at Crunch, to maybe a year ago? What'd you notice? Like, was it just a knowledge difference that you just know more, so you're better at fitness now? What was that big key thing that took you to the next level as a coach?
Took me into online coaching, you're saying?
No, physically.
Knowledge, definitely. I mean, you become a better at anything the more knowledge you have about the topic.
Okay.
So knowledge and then presence. Like not worrying, just being.
Okay.
So when I went from training my clients, and thinking about the next thing and just counting the reps and just like, looking around, thinking of, how much time I have left until the end of my shift and then what I'm going to do after. And like, yeah, ready, 2 more sets. To now I have the knowledge. Now I know what good form looks like. Now I know how I can effectively help this person. And then during sessions, I was just all about that person.
But for you,
it's just you're asking really long questions, so it's like you're losing me.
How did you change? How did you change physically when you started at Crunch to being peak?
How did I change physically?
Yes. Did you not see progress the whole time? Do
Definitely.
you still look the same as you did when you started at Crunch?
Definitely not.
So what changed in your approach?
Getting a coach.
You had a coach?
Yeah. I had my first coach. And that's crazy now that we're talking about it, because my first coach was more like me when I first started versus my second coach, which was more like me now.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I first started at Crunch, I was skinny. I remember being very skinny because I just wasn't really eating. I was still drinking a lot because I was bartending. So I was just very skinny, didn't really have a lot of muscle, and I wanted to grow my glutes. And I remember when I first started, my first coach was like, "You're going to go on a bulk." And so I definitely bulked up and I was training hard. Um, and then I cut, but I didn't take it as far as I could have. Then I bulked up again and now I'm here now cutting. And the difference is just like insane. Insane.
What did having a coach teach you?
It taught me so much just about fitness in general, about the science behind programming, the science behind nutrition. Having a coach taught me way more than my personal training certification, tenfold. Taught me accountability and discipline. Yeah.
And when was the decision? When did you fully leave the bartending job? How far along into Crunch?
4 months maybe. Yeah, because I started in January.
What
March,
led
I
to
was
that
still
decision?
working there. I want to say April. So yeah, 4 months. 4 months.
What led to that decision?
Um, as soon as I was making enough money to be able to survive.
So were you making more money than you did bartending?
No,
So then why leave bartending?
because I just knew that that just wasn't the lifestyle for me anymore. I didn't feel healthy when I was bartending. I didn't feel it didn't make me feel good. And I knew that it wasn't the right path. I knew that I was never going to build a career off that. And I knew if I stayed a bartender, I would stay a bartender for forever. I would be there for a long time. So something switched, and I was like, the sooner I can get out of this and just take that leap, the sooner I can start building a career and build something that lasts. Because I was not going to school.
So now you had goals.
Yes.
Very interesting.
Interesting.
I wanted to touch up again. Like you said, you had two coaches. One that was like you when you started, which is one with you now.
Mm-hmm.
I guess what advice do you have for females out there like looking for coaching, for them to differentiate between a good coach and a bad coach?
That's a good question. I would say first look at testimonials. Look at their results that they've had with other clients. Look at their reviews, what other people are saying. Look at their physique. Do you like how they look? Do they look how you want to look?
Do you think that's an accurate representation?
Huh?
Do you think that's an accurate representation
Yes.
of a good coach?
Not of a good coach, but you asked me like for girls who want a coach. Are you asking me like what makes a good coach?
I'm just saying what you notice the difference between a good one and a bad one is.
Oh.
Because I would disagree. I'm saying like there's a lot of bad coaches that look phenomenal.
Oh, true.
I think most coaches are bad that look phenomenal.
You know, and I wanted to touch on that too. Like, it's so sad, like how many bad coaches there are.
Right.
I think I've met one other, like, I don't know. But what was the original question?
What advice would you have if a female is interested in coaching for them to make sure they have a good coach instead of a bad one?
To do their own research first.
What are they looking for?
They are looking for training methodologies. How do you like to train?
What is methodologies?
There's
Talk to
just
the
so
general
many,
population.
There's just so many training styles. Well, that's a hard question for the general population.
If a girl's out there looking for a coach, what advice do you have her in making sure that she applies to a good one?
Look at the coach's track record. Look at their testimonials. Look at their reviews. Look at the type of character that they have. What kind of values do they have? How do they present themselves on social media? Are they positive? Are they dedicated? Are they doing what they're telling you to do? That too. And me and you have disagreed on this topic, but I don't believe that if a coach looks bad, like has a bad physique, is fat, that you should have them as a coach.
That you should?
That you should. I disagree with that. I
That's
just
fine.
don't think so.
There's just so many great coaches that are out of shape and have led to champions.
But it's like, if you're not doing it, how can you coach me through the mental aspect of doing it?
Well, that's a good coach.
I guess so. I stand corrected.
That's a good coach. That's the whole point.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would say that's it.
Next topic. I'm out of questions.
um,
Take a look at your notes if you have to.
yeah, I'm gonna take a look. I would like to get into more of the mindset. Like, I feel like we just told our stories.
Start asking.
Like, let's get into mindset. What would you say the biggest sacrifices are? What are we good on time?
We got like 20 minutes.
Okay. What would you say are the biggest sacrifices that you've made to be where you are today? Because, like I said, you went from making $7K a month to $20K a month.
I made $7K a month once. At Crunch.
So what was like the last month? What did you make at Crunch?
An average monthly salary for me at Crunch was $4K.
So you went from making $4K in your last paycheck was when? In September.
Right.
You went from making $4K in September. Now we're in October and you made 20. No. I want to get the timeline right.
2 months ago, it's August.
So yeah, perfect. August you made 4K.
Mhm.
We're in October. You made 20K the whole month of September.
Mhm.
What sacrifices did you have to make in order to get there?
Well, I sacrificed my 9 to 5, my job, sacrificed all money that I had to invest in an opportunity. I keep sacrificing my time.
Talk about that.
Sacrificing my time.
Mm-hmm.
It goes back to the purpose we were talking about earlier. I'm just so in love with what I'm doing, and I'm so in love with the goal that I have set out for myself that I'm just gonna stop at nothing to achieve it. And I'm willing to sacrifice anything in my path to achieve that. I think it just boils down to that. I don't care what's in front of me. I don't care what I have to do, that I will do it to achieve the life I have envisioned for myself. But again, that goes to what we were saying earlier as well. I know what I want out of life, which is what most people don't. Most people don't know what they want in life. They go day by day, just living, making the same choices, and expecting different results.
And what was your limiting belief that kept you from that for so long?
Kept me at Crunch.
Yeah.
I had several limiting beliefs that I wouldn't be able to do it alone. The people around me kept saying that, nah, bro, the people around, damn, this is getting to me. The people around me kept, your environment is, I think your environment dictates where you're going to be. And by that, I mean, just the people around me kept telling me, don't move into the online space. It's oversaturated. And that's just a limiting belief. That's a weak mindset. If it's oversaturated, that implies that there's a lot of money in it, which is why it's oversaturated. And it's oversaturated with people that aren't willing to take risks. You know, it's oversaturated with mediocrity. And, having those people in your ear day after day, they talk you into not taking that jump.
I would go as far as to say the minute that people start telling you it's not going to work, that's when you should just do it.
But that's when it's the hardest to do it.
That's when it's the hardest to do it. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
100%.
Because you got nothing going for you.
And not only that, but that means that the goal is so big that everybody around you, it's triggering their limiting beliefs.
100%.
And I'm sure you had that.
Yeah, they're rejecting yours because they don't see themselves at that level.
Yes.
They don't have that belief within themselves, so they're going to shut you down.
100%.
Right? They get pleasure off shutting you down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't even tell you how many times, like even my own family,
100%.
It was just like, what are you doing? That's so unrealistic.
Yep.
That's not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, perfect. Now I know.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know this is exactly what I should be doing. Because the last thing I want to do is end up like you guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and unrealistic shouldn't even be a word.
It really shouldn't. Because anything can be realistic if you make it.
We weren't flying a couple thousand years ago. Not even a couple hundred years ago.
Right?
And now we put planes in the sky. That was unrealistic. All these lights around us. We didn't have that hundreds of years ago. That was unrealistic. Happened either way. So it's just limiting belief. It's all it is. And
that brings it down to manifestation as well.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that's something that you're getting into now.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about your journey in manifestation and that.
I've come a long way.
You have.
So when I first started, when we first met, I've always been a very logical and rational person. So if the evidence isn't in front of me, I'm not going to believe it, which is something I've changed. I used to be one of those people like, yeah, that's unrealistic. It's unrealistic because you just can't imagine it being real. The second you start imagining it being real, then if you start imagining that in itself will manifest into reality. And you've switched my perspective on that. And so have numerous of mentors and books that I've read. It's fascinating.
It's so crazy how it works.
Yeah, it truly is. It's just a simple mindset shift.
Definitely.
Yeah. Go for it.
What would you say?
I had something good to say, but I forgot it.
What would you say are like daily practices that anybody who's trying to be successful in fitness or in their financial goals or achieve any goals they set out for themselves, what's like a daily practice that you think is necessary in order to achieve?
Visualizing the person you want to be, where you want to be, who you want to be with, what do you have. I think that is necessary. You have to imagine what lacks in reality. That way it could become your reality.
Everything starts with an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Everything does.
Yeah, to put it in simple terms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything starts with an idea. So as soon as you can just make that idea in your head, yeah.
It's relentless effort that the idea is true.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Relentless belief.
Belief, yes.
Belief.
100%.
And I guess that's the problem, right? Because a lot of people don't believe in themselves.
Mm-hmm. What about you? How I met you already being a very spiritual being and into the whole witch's brew, manifestation, crystals, all that stuff. What got you into that in the first place?
A rock bottom. Shocker.
Talk to me about that. What was rock bottom?
This was that same time when my ex had broken up with me for the first time. And yeah, it was almost like, and I had been with the person for a while. So it was kind of just
What's a while?
At that point, I want to say like 3 years.
Damn.
And so at that point I was like I just could not believe it. You know when something happens that you just absolutely like cannot fathom,
Mm-hmm.
like comes out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
You're just like, what in the world?
Mm-hmm.
And so you just start to question everything. But I think the primary thing that I did to overcome that was I looked inside. Like you have two options. When something bad happens to you, you could either look at everything else and try to figure out everything on the external and figure out what went wrong, or you could just look inside and find the problem inside. So that's what I did. I was like, I went through the whole thing. We're like, he's an asshole. I can't believe he's done this to me.
Externalist mentality.
Externalist mentality. And then that got old after a day or two. And I was like, obviously, it's something I'm doing. Obviously, it was something I did to provoke this circumstance. So, what is that?
What made you realize that? Because most people keep blaming it on the other person, the environment, this, that, external circumstances. What made you realize that it was actually a you problem?
I guess it wasn't like a realization, it was more of like a decision. Where I realized that after a couple days of blaming everything else, it wasn't making me feel any better.
And nothing changed.
And nothing changed.
Right.
I was just feeling more like I was just in more suffering.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's it going to do? Even if I do pinpoint something external that happened, what is that going to do? I need to have control of the situation. Therefore, it's something that I can change, which is something up here. So that's when I just started, I'd heard of manifestation, but I was very Christian at the time. And I was just like, oh, that's the devil's work. Like I could never. But I was so rock bottom that I was just so open to any idea that I was like, what is going to get me out of this hole? So I started on TikTok. It was like, what is manifestation? How to shift
When
your
did you
mindset?
first hear about it?
Maybe like a year prior
Really? From?
on TikTok.
On TikTok?
Yeah.
It's just hoodoo bitch
It was
talking
just
about
hoodoo.
manifestation.
Yeah. Just like, hoodoo stuff on my TikTok that I would always be like, oh, that's bullshit. Swipe,
Right.
bullshit, swipe. Until I was so rock bottom that I was like willing to take anything that I've ever heard and see if it's true.
Right.
To see if it could get me out of this hole.
Yeah, when the pain of change is greater than the pain of staying the same, then you will change.
100%. 1000%.
Okay, so you get into the whole...
So I was like, huh. So I looked it up. I remember the exact moment. I was on my way to work. I was working at the golf course at this point. And I was like, let me look this up, like this manifestation thing. So I started watching a couple videos and it was like a light bulb moment. I was like, hello, like I provoked this. I provoked him breaking up with me just by being the person that I was being,
100%.
which was negative, self-doubting all the time. Yeah, just living in this hole. Like, of course these things are happening to me now. So I was like, obviously I can change that. It's just up to me. So I had the mindset shift and I started getting deeper into it. And like 2 days later, I get a call on my way back from work. And he's like, I miss you. Let's get back together. And in that moment, I was just like, yeah, like this is real.
And like, what was your journey after that?
After that, I spent 2 years.
You got what you wanted, right?
Yeah, I got what I wanted.
So
I
did you almost keep manifesting things, or?
Oh yeah. I went through a whole thing. Like,
And every time it was
every time I would manifest it, it would happen.
wish fulfilled.
Wish fulfilled, it would happen. I mean, sometimes it would take longer, but I just did not break that mindset and I got literally everything I wanted. Everything. But it's not until you realize, like, yeah, I could manifest all the material things and I could manifest all the external things that I want. But at the end of the day, it means nothing if I'm not okay on the inside. And if I'm not fulfilled in here. And if I'm not growing.
So what was missing inside?
Growth. I was too comfortable. I was good. I had the boyfriend. I had the apartment. I had the car. I had this new job. I had the body. I had the money. And I was still not happy, truly, within myself.
When did you realize that?
Mm, I would say maybe about 5 months after I got my apartment. So that was maybe like 3 months into crunch.
Time period.
What year was that? I'm not good with times, obviously.
2024.
2024. So this was like March of 2024 when my
Cool.
car crashed.
So that was a thing. What happened?
I had just bought this brand new car. It was like the car I'd been dreaming about, right?
Car of your
Manifested
dreams.
it though, got it.
Boom.
3 weeks crashed it
Love it.
on St. Patrick's Day. And
Your fault?
yeah, I didn't tell the insurance that, but yeah, it was my fault.
Okay.
So yeah. So it wasn't until then where I was like, yeah, I could have anything I want, but stuff is still gonna happen.
But I'm sure you were
life
pissed.
isn't gonna be perfect. Exactly. Oh, I was so pissed. I was sad. I remember the minute I crashed my car, I looked at it and I was like, I'm gonna throw up right now. I was like, I'm just gonna throw up. This is disgusting. I cannot, like, imagine buying a brand new car, like the first car you ever bought, and not only that's your dream car. It was a 2025 Dodge Hornet. No, a 2024 Dodge Hornet. Black, every color I wanted, every trim I wanted, and in 3 weeks, totaled. So just as fast as you can manifest something, you can lose it all the same day.
Mm-hmm. And how was that day for you?
Rough. And you know what I did?
What?
I went out and I got drunk.
How was that?
Not good. Not good. I was not okay mentally.
Where were you at?
I was like, it was one of those moments where you just question everything. You're like, I have it all. I lost one thing. I'm still just not happy. I'm just not happy right now. And so after years manifesting, like I knew it was a mindset thing. So a couple days after grieving my car, I was just like, you know what? It is what it is. I just have to get through this. Just like I've gotten through everything else.
Cool.
I just have to get through it. So I was getting through it. I was looking at other cars, whatever. I still really was just trying to keep a positive mindset. But then that question set in again, where I was like, now what? Are you going to stay like this the rest of your life? What's the next step? I was really hyper focused on my relationship at the time and trying to improve and grow the relationship, but I just didn't really see it going anywhere. Yeah. And I had asked for change. I wanted to change. I wanted to grow. I wanted to expand my intellect. I wanted to expand my emotions and become more emotionally intelligent. But I wanted to do it with somebody. I wanted to do it with somebody who understood the process, and who was able to be there by my side. And on days that I didn't feel like talking or didn't feel like cleaning, or they would understand because we're both on this journey together. And I just wasn't with that person. That's not to say that person, like my ex, wasn't a good person. Like genuinely such a good person. Gave me everything that I wanted. But at the end of the day, like I said, material items, like they buy momentary happiness. They don't buy long-term joy.
So what'd you do?
So I just broke up with him after 5 years.
Damn.
I had a conversation and I was like, listen, this is how I feel. This is what I want. Can you do this with me? Can you change? And he told me yes. 2 weeks passed and literally nothing changed. Like nothing got even slightly remotely better. There was like zero effort. And it was the hardest decision. Yes. The hardest decision I've ever made in my whole life to this day.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, I just can't anymore. I'm done. I can't wait around for you to change and grow with me. So I'm going to grow on my own.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
How was that process after?
It was hard, but I knew it was going to be hard. And I had talked to you about it, I remember. And I knew what I was in for. But at that moment, I think after everything that I had been through with my family, with my ex, with my jobs, I knew that at the end of the day, every time I've experienced serious discomfort and serious pain, I have grown right after. And I've leveled up right after. I knew just by the evidence of my life that, yeah, I knew just by the evidence that my life had presented that pain equals growth. And if I do want to achieve more, I need to go through pain and I need to go through discomfort. And if that means leaving somebody behind and making the most uncomfortable decision of my life, I'm willing to do that. Mm-hmm. If it means not staying the same.
Mm-hmm. What'd you learn?
That exactly. That exact thing.
That you have to go through pain?
You have to. You have to make hard decisions. You have to be uncomfortable. You have to put yourself in the hardest position possible in order to grow and become stronger in every single facet. Would you agree?
I would, definitely.
Where do you feel like you learned that?
My move.
What did that teach you?
How to function in an environment where nobody knows who you are.
And how did you do that?
Do what?
How did you function in an environment where nobody knows who you are?
To me, it was, like I said, I didn't know anybody. And even when I started the personal training, it was home, work, home, work, home, work. That was the first 2 years I worked at Crunch. And now I lived in Lehigh, working in Cape Coral. So for reference, that's a 45-minute drive. And I had some clients at 7 a.m. So that's me waking up 4:35, making a drive, trying to avoid traffic, getting there at 7. And then since it's an hour back as well, I would just spend the whole day there, even when I didn't have clients. So midday would be like my workout period, all the way until I had clients up until 8 p.m. At 8, driving an hour back at 9, and then waking up at 4:30 again. That was my life for 2 years. But what I learned in the process was how to be alone. Not having to rely on anybody. Figuring it all on my own. Because again, my parents were caught up doing their life. You know, my mom was working at Amazon. My dad works almost 16 hours a day. So even when the few moments I'm in the house on the 2 days off that I have, it was still about fitness. I was like, how do I become a better coach? I just made it all about fitness. How do I become a better coach? So then that's where the personal development journey started coming into play. This is where if I really want to be the best at my job, because it's the only thing I have going for me at the time, I gotta be the best salesman. I gotta know the most, and I gotta be the best coach possible. So immediately got into a sales course. Immediately start reading to understand people's psychology, so I could be a better salesman, so I could be a better coach, so I could be able to push my clients further to get them from where they are to where they want to be. That's a whole mental game, psychological welfare. And just my life became this constant pursuit of improvement. How do I just get better?
You were making up for lost time, you could
100%,
say?
yeah. I was making up for lost time, and I felt it. I felt that way. It's like I finally have something going for me. So let me try to exploit it as much as possible to make up for the years of high school and college lost.
In that period, were there days where you felt like giving up?
I'm sure, but I don't remember them because I was just so consumed in the process. And it was hard getting into it at first because a lot of those bad habits, reappear. But once you get over that initial struggling period of figuring out routine, figuring out the habits, what do I have to do on a daily basis, you get consumed and yeah, it's almost like it overtakes you to seek to get better every day. It's addicting. It's very addicting.
For sure.
Yeah.
How are we doing on time?
We could wrap it up there, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, that's perfect. Good.
Okay.
Outros?
Fascinating. Yeah, outros.
Go for it.
So yeah, I guess we pretty much like summed up stories.
A little bit. First time we
Right.
talked about that.
Yeah, first time we really like talked about our story, but yeah.
Yeah. I guess topic, focal point is don't be comfortable.
Yeah, yeah. I guess
Focal
that
point,
would
don't
be
be
the main
comfortable.
point. Don't be comfortable. If you're lost, seek out help.